And we are back. Mr. Colbert, welcome.
Thank you.
This is what the world watched on Tuesday night.
Well, after nearly 15 minutes of soul searching, I have heard the call. Nation, I shall seek the office of the President of the United States.
We know you're doing it, but why are you doing it?
I'm doing it, Tim, because I think our country is facing unprecedented challenges in the future. And I think that the junctures that we face are both critical and unforeseen. And the real challenge is how we will respond to these junctures, be they unprecedented or unforeseen, or, God help us, critical.
You've thought this through.
That's a generous estimation. Thank you.
The press reaction to your announcement has been mixed. Here's one headline.
Okay.
This was on Thursday. Electile dysfunction. Colbert running for president.
That's good work. That's good work.
Are they questioning, shall we say, your stamina?
I don't know. I think a lot of people are asking whether they say, is this real? You know, and to which I would say to everybody, this is not a dream. Okay, you're not going to wake up from this. Okay, I'm far realer than Sam Brownback. Let me put it that way.
Authenticity is important to the voter.
Absolutely. You've got to convey to them that you mean what you say and that you've put some thought into what you do.
Many people in your family, and you used to be Colbert.
Right. Yeah.
You are now Colbert.
Yeah.
I would be Russert.
Russert. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Sesame Street. There are two characters.
Is this
Ernie and
Bert? Ernie and Bert.
B-E-R-T.
Yes.
Then why aren't you Colbert?
Are you saying that I don't have the right to drop the T in my name? Are you saying that? Last time I checked, this was America. Or does that mean anything to you anymore?
Then why not call him Bear?
Because that's his choice. You'll have to ask him. I dare you. Ask him.
Are you
right now?
But why did you change your name?
I changed my name because I knew that there were people out there who needed T's.
Not comfortable in your own skin.
Oh, I'm extremely comfortable in my own skin. I'm uncomfortable in other people's skin.
Why are you running only in South Carolina?
Because I believe that it's the greatest state of the union. I believe there are things that I believe I can make a difference there. I think it is time to focus on South Carolina. Florida tried to jump South Carolina's primary date for both the Republicans and the Democrats. I want to put the focus back on South Carolina. I want it to be a permanent thing. I don't want Iowa and New Hampshire to be the only people in the United States who get to control who is a bellwether state. And if Iowa and New Hampshire don't like that, they can take some of that Iowa corn and stick it right up their Dixville notch.
Yeah, another attempt at humor, Mr. Colbert.
I'm serious. I'm serious.
Are you a son of South Carolina?
I am.
You know a lot about the state?
I do.
What's the state amphibian?
The state amphibian?
Yeah.
It's my dog, Cookie.
No,
she swims and she goes on land.
It's the spotted salamander.
That's the easiest. What's the state flower, sir?
Go ahead.
The state?
Go ahead.
The Confederate jasmine, also known as the yellow jasmine.
Well done. What's the state motto?
Dum Spiro Sparrow.
Which means?
While I breathe, I hope. Come on! I thought you had better researchers. You can't nail me with harder things than this.
The mandatory presidential campaign book. All the candidates seem to have them. Yours is out. I am America, and so can you. On Iraq, this is what you say. Once again, God won the war. He just doesn't occupy very well.
Yeah.
God's on our side in Iraq?
I would say he's not on their side. Do you think he's on our enemy's side?
Do
you think he's on our enemy's side?
I'm asking
You're implying these are your words, not mine.
These are your words from your book.
But your words are certainly in your question. You'll have to grant me that.
So God's not an occupier?
He just didn't occupy very well in Iraq.
You know, if you look at the voting blocks that exist in South Carolina and around the country, I'm quite surprised the way you treat them in this book.
What do you mean?
Senior citizens? This is what you call them. Old people. Sorry, but retirement offends me. You don't just stop fighting in the middle of a war because your legs hurt. So why do you get to stop working in the middle of your life just because your prostate hurts?
Well, Tim, I just don't understand pensions or Social Security. Why do you get paid after you stop working? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Abolish Social Security.
Yes.
Abolish Medicare.
Yes.
Abolish all pensions.
Abolish tipping waiters and waitresses, because I've gotten my food, they get paid by the hour. Why am I giving them extra money? That's all pensions and Social Security are. It's a tip at the end of your life.
Senior vote is gone. Now, fathers. Again, your words, your book, The Father. America used to live by the motto, Father knows best. Now we're lucky if Father knows he has children. There's more to being a father than taking kids to Chuck E. Cheese and supplying the occasional Y chromosome. A father has to be a provider, a teacher, a role model, but most importantly, a distant authority figure who can never be pleased. Are you a presidential candidate who speaks to your children?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you think candidates should speak to their children?
Absolutely. If they have them. I don't think that you have to have children to be a presidential candidate. It might actually help to move quick and light.
The mother, another source.
I love my mother. You're not gonna attack me for loving my mother, are you?
You attack all mothers in your book. Again, your words, Mr. Colbert, and here they are. Scientists have proven one assumes that every flaw in a child can be traced back to a mistake made by the mother. As adults, we're all imperfect, so that means all mothers are incompetent. But some mothers are worse than others. Take women who work. If you work outside the home, you might as well bring coconut arsenic squares to the school bake sale. Doesn't Hillary Clinton work outside the home?
I believe she does, yeah.
Are you talking about her?
I'm talking about all mothers who don't spend all their time thinking about their children and nothing else.
Women should be out of the workforce.
No, they can be in the workforce as long as they bring their children with them. That's all I mean to imply.
Gay marriage.
Yeah.
This is, again, from the Colbert Bible.
Yeah.
The biggest threat, you say, facing America today, next to socialized medicine, the Dyson vacuum cleaner, and the recumbent bicycle.
Yeah.
That, to you, that means it's a serious threat to our culture.
Right.
Why?
Excuse me?
Why?
Why is gay marriage? Well, marriage is the basic building block of society. And if gay men get married, that threatens my marriage immediately, because I only got married as a taunt toward gay men because they couldn't.
So it makes you feel insecure.
Well, I just don't know why I got married other than to rub it in gay people's faces.
Would you consider Senator Larry Craig as your running mate?
I would.
Have you had conversations with him?
Define conversation.
Have you spoken to him?
No.
Have you met with him? Have you been in the same room together?
Yes.
And
my lawyer is telling me to say no more.
How did you express your interest in developing your relationship?
Forcefully.
Vanity Fair wrote this.
The fine news magazine.
This is what they said. Unlike many of his friends, Colbert did not return to Charleston, South Carolina after graduation from Northwestern, I might add, instead staying in Chicago. He cut a distinctly un-Southern look. He wore a black turtleneck, had what he describes as a Jesus beard, and grew his hair out. Now, NBC News Meet the Press has researched this.
Oh, I know all about your researchers.
Take a look at this picture. That is you. Do you deny it?
I don't deny it. What good would it do me?
All right.
My time away.
Do you know a gentleman named Chip Hill?
I'm familiar with Mr. Hill.
You've known him 30 years.
I have, yeah.
He's godfather to your child.
Yes, he is.
This is what Mr. Hill had to say. When he was growing up, Colbert, according to Chip Hill, used to joke about how, quote, he wanted to major in mass psychology and start a cult. I want to see that picture again. That's a cult leader.
Look, I don't deny that my time away from the South has been a time in the desert for me.
Do you have Manson tendencies?
Inclinations as strong as I would go. I don't actually have a group of people who I can snap my fingers and have them attack people.
But you would like to be a cult leader.
I did at the time want to be a cult leader. I find that being a TV pundit is much more powerful, and you have to be less reliable.
But would being president be, in your mind, a cult leader?
I don't want to be president. I want to run for president. There's a difference. I'm running in South Carolina.
You'd like to lose?
I'd like to lose twice. I'd like to lose both a Republican and a Democrat.
And what statement would that make?
I think that statement would make that I was able to get on the ballot in South Carolina. And if I can do it, so can you.
In your office in New York City, you have a
You've
large
been in my office.
a large poster of a president, don't you?
Richard Nixon.
Yes, indeed.
1972. Now more than ever.
Now, let me show you and our viewers what you said about that. And here's something Colbertophiles might not know or might not want to know. He loves Richard Nixon. He has a 1972 Nixon campaign poster on the wall of his office. He points at it and says, he was so liberal. Look what he was running on. He started the EPA. He gave 18-year-olds the vote. His issues were education, drugs, women, minorities, youth involvement, ending the draft, improving the environment. John Kerry couldn't have run on this. What I would give for a Nixon.
It'd be great. It'd be great.
You love Richard Nixon.
I have great warm feelings of Richard Nixon. He was the first president that I was aware of. And I was a little upset with him because when I would come home in the afternoons from school, instead of the Munsters or the Three Stooges on TV, it was Senator Sam Ervin. And while his eyebrows were hilarious, they weren't quite as good as Herman Munster.
Would you be Nixonian in your approach to the presidency?
I'd be Nixon-ish, or Nixonoid. Is that like being Nixonian? Define Nixonian. Powerful, paranoid, fun-loving and gay? Absolutely.
Is this a self-analysis?
No, I don't put myself on the couch.
But you are Nixonian.
If you say so.
Well, you just did.
Again, if you say so, I don't even listen to what I say.
But Richard Nixon had a very difficult relationship with the media, as you well know.
I have a very difficult relationship with the media
point.
because I'm a member of the media, and I don't trust us.
You don't have Nixon to kick around anymore. You remember that?
I do.
And I remember the White House Correspondents' Dinner, April of 2006.
I blacked out for most of that, but go ahead.
Stephen Colbert at the presidential podium, the seal in front of him. And this is what he said to the Washington press corps. Let's watch.
Write that novel you got kicking around in your head. You know, the one about the intrepid Washington reporter with the courage to stand up to the administration? You know, fiction.
Yeah. That sounds familiar.
And why did you say that?
I just have so much respect for the way the press supported the goals of the administration for the first 4 years. And I was just so distressed that at any point they started standing up to the administration, asking questions, and I just didn't understand why they couldn't go back to the good old days of 2001 to mid-2004.
Which did you prefer?
I preferred when they didn't ask any questions at all. I mean, it was easier for the president to get things done, and that's what he's there for.
What do you watch yourself as a person preparing to run for the presidency?
I watch my show to get a pulse for the nation. I have to watch Jon Stewart's show because he tosses to me at the end of his show. I like Grey's Anatomy. That's a pretty good show. I like Conan O'Brien.
These men you're describing, aren't they liberal?
I would say John has had some misguided statements. I don't think Conan's liberal. I don't think Conan's taking any political statements.
If you are trounced in South Carolina,
All right, here's the attack. Go ahead, yeah.
Simple question.
Yeah, I'm trounced.
What happens then?
Well, it's proportional voting on the Democratic side. All I need is enough votes on the Democratic side to get one delegate, and I'll feel like I've won. Because if at the Democratic National Convention, somebody has to stand up and say, the proud state of South Carolina, the Palmetto State, the home of the greatest peaches and shrimp in the world, cast one vote for native son Stephen Colbert, I'd say I won.
So you will not allow that Democratic convention to acclaim their nominee. There will be no unanimous acclamation.
No,
You're going to stop that.
Listen, why else run as a favorite son if you're not going to broker a convention? And if I get a delegate, it will be a brokered convention. Unless they offer me to speak there, then maybe I would turn over my delegate.
Bob, we want to thank you for joining us and sharing your views.
Thank you very much. It's been an honor.
It's going to be an interesting campaign to cover.
Thank you very much. Am I allowed to ask people for money on your show?
Do you have an 800 number you want us to give out?
I have a website.
I'm not going to do that.
No?
But I am going to ask you to be safe on the campaign trail.
Thank you very much.
I'm David Gregory for Press Pass. We're at the Colbert Report here in New York. We're going to talk to Stephen Colbert about the state of this campaign, about his character, go behind the scenes here of his program. Here's our conversation. Stephen Colbert, welcome back to Meet the Press.
It is a thrill. I cannot wait to meet the press. Bring them in. Bring all of the press in.
I should say, just to our audience,
Yes?
full disclosure,
Yeah.
That you and I actually have teamed up to play bubble soccer.
Oh,
on
a Jimmy Fallon show. The great national pastime of bubble soccer.
That's right.
Yes, which I think is just an attempt to give middle-aged men massive myocardial infarct. Yeah.
Which is never
Never good.
I have to ask you, when people see you, do they say, oh, come on, can you be the real Stephen for me? Be the real Stephen. Or
No.
be the fake Stephen.
They never do.
Really?
They never do.
What do they say?
They hi.
Really, that's
How are you?
Yeah.
They do. They actually people are almost never mistaken about who I am at any given moment.
Do they want to see your character immediately? Will they ask you to perform?
No, they really don't. They're very nice about it. You're the only one who's ever done that.
And that's why this is Meet the Press.
Yes. No, honestly, God, I'm really grateful that people don't come up to me and say, do the guy.
Right.
It's like just walking down the street and someone goes, play Freebird.
Let me ask you,
Which I'm prepared to do, by the way.
let me ask Stephen Colbert.
If I leave here tomorrow, how about you? Okay, go ahead, please.
Let me ask Stephen Colbert, the character.
Hold on. Hello.
What?
I'm Stephen Colbert. Hello. Go ahead, yes, please.
Give me your sense. Who has the edge in this race right now?
Romney, obviously. Did you see him the other night? That guy is on fire. He is on a rocket ride to plausible at this point.
What does the real Stephen think?
What?
What does the real Stephen think about the race?
Yank my chain around. I'm not your puppet to dance on your string, David Gregory. The real Stephen is actually pleased as a performer that Mitt Romney got his in a pile, because I model conservative punditry, and if he's not someone I can follow, then I'm lost. And I have to say, up until Wednesday night, I just thought, I don't know what I'm going to do for the next month.
Because why?
He was just a walking, shambling mound of weakness, Even the people who liked him didn't seem to be behind him that strongly. People were, stepping out of his boat. They're all saying, hey, that's the guy. I'll be right there. No, I'm just trying the life jacket on right now. Do I have to self-inflate or do I pull the cord?
And that all changed.
No, it's all. Now he's the man. Now he's got these long, luscious coattails, and everybody's jumping on board.
There's a course, as you well know, at Boston University, and Professor Rodriguez has a syllabus that we got a hold of. That
I'm actually not familiar with what you're about to talk about.
You're not familiar?
No, what are you talking about?
Okay, this is the course at Boston University that's about American satire, and that references heavily the Colbert Report.
That is very
And this is what he describes in the syllabus. Colbert satirically exposes hypocrisy with surgical precision, inviting us to think more deeply about serious issues and to improve our socio-political conditions. Does that about have it?
I do not get paid enough. I didn't realize I was that brilliant. I thought I was making the occasional poop joke.
But what is you are a performer, but you also do make a point. You make a point with your satire.
I am a satir. All satirists make points. Satire is parody with a point. That's all it is. Right. And so if I was doing satire and didn't have a point of view, then that would be truly like schizophrenic. That would be like trying to establish patterns that aren't really there. I always have a point of view. I care about the news. Mm-hmm. We do 160 meow meow shows a year. 161 shows a year, and you can't do that unless. I guess you care a little bit about what you're talking about, or I couldn't. Some people could, but I can't do that. And so I'm interested in the news, and so people often think that I'm an ideologue or that I have a political intent. I think that people, when John and I did the rally 2 years ago, they thought that had a political intent. But I comment on things that are in the news. I do not imagine that I'm a newsman. I really admire newsmen. I really enjoy good news. And I'm not a politician, but I like playing political games to see what really happens in them.
Right.
Like, that's why I formed a super PAC, or that's why I ran for president, or formed an exploratory committee.
And what did you expose about politics by the exploratory committee? By by testifying about immigration on Capitol Hill, which some people were critical of, or the
I
super
would
PAC.
say everyone was critical.
Yeah,
of.
right,
Some
I
people,
would-
you're being very generous.
yes.
Everyone was critical of that.
been a long
But I
time
would do it
since
again in a
we had
minute.
this
You know,
kind
first
of
of all, what an
coverage.
honor to be asked to go do it. You know, once you're asked, you know, and to say, well, I'm only going to do it if I can do it in character, because I've got no business doing something like that. But my character thinks he does. And through him, I can say things that are hopefully in a more palatable way than I could ever.
But that's where you're a performer making a point. So what have you exposed about politics through those examples we just mentioned?
Well, and that, and the congressional one is that Congress is like 8th grade recess. They were so nasty to each other. And I was just a cudgel. You know, I didn't think they could give a damn whether it was me, but they saw me as a way to beat on each other. Or rather, the Republicans saw me as a way to beat on the Democrats. And maybe that was a valid way to beat on them. But they sure knew a weapon when they saw one. The super PAC was an act of discovery. I'll give you that example. The super PAC was an act of discovery because I didn't intend to have a super PAC. I intended to make a joke about Tim Pawlenty's unbelievable over-the-top ad, which was like a Michael Bay, you know, voice of God, you know, preaching to America from the surface of the moon. Tim Pawlenty saves our country. And I couldn't figure out how to end it. And at the end, it just said libertypac.com. And I said, well, just put colbertpac.com on the end of ours. And that one thing led to another, and including, you know, a lot of lawyers. And what I found out is that there's an entire industry in politics, which I didn't know, I suspected. There's an entire industry. There's a politico-industrial complex that is not only raising money, but that is built around making money off of the fact that there is so much money in politics, and that there are almost no rules. People kept on saying, well, should you be doing this? Isn't it a little dangerous to be pointing out that to actually get a ruling from the FEC that for the first time there are no lines between corporate interest and political interests? And I said, well, or at least I always felt, well, it's like someone saying, I know there's this tiger of money over there, but don't worry, we've got it in a cage. And I just go, would you mind if I just check the lock? No, please, that's dangerous to check the lock. And I went over and just touched the door of the cage, and it came off in my hand. Now, it's not my fault that there's no lock on that. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't you rather know that there is? And for me, the joy was everything I learned while I did it was a new joke that I could, or a new subject I could make jokes on that at the time nobody was talking about.
A lot of what your character does, a lot of what you do through the program is similar to what you're talking about the super PAC. You expose what's absurd or what simply doesn't work about politics and about our institutions of government, which I think a lot of your followers and your viewers believe.
Well,
that
I don't know if I do. I don't know if I expose it, but I try to be aspects. I try to put myself in the news or to embody the thing rather than like John does like what's called pure deconstruction, where he picks apart what's happened in the day's news and he kind of lays it out for you like a cadaver.
Right.
You know?
But
I falsely reconstruct the news.
Mitt will put the leaders of Iran on notice.
Right.
You know, and so that's a different way of doing
to make a point of the absurdity, right?
Right, exactly. And if I do it and something in the news is doing it, that real thing is probably bull. Because if I can go out and do it and it's happening in the real world, the closer it is to me, the less you should trust it.
Why do you think so many people think you and Jon Stewart are more effective at exposing hypocrisy, getting to real truths than the news media is?
I don't know if that's the case.
Well, I think there are certainly people who believe that.
Okay, that they're entitled to their beliefs. I don't know. I mean, jokes make things palatable. Mm-hmm. I would say that.
You can tell
watching
truer truths.
I don't know about truer truths. Now you're talking to my character.
Yeah.
He speaks about truths in capital T, and those truths are the truths he sees and he declares. Mm-hmm. But I don't know what any of my audience's truth is. Comedy just helps an idea go down. That's all, and just makes you listen for a minute. We were thrilled that we did almost an entire year on super PACs. Every week we did a story. Sometimes twice a week we did a story on a super PAC, and those are jokes about campaign finance reform. But we were so interested in it that we got our audience interested in it. And that was an interesting discovery, that we could drill down as far as we wanted. And as long as we were fascinated about it, our jokes could allow our audience to be just as fascinated.
So we're sitting in your office and behind you is your storyboard. Take us behind the scenes a little bit about how how material comes together off the news to make it on the Colbert Report.
Why don't you just ask the 7 herbs and spices while you're at it, or the recipe for Coca-Cola?
How do you do it?
How do you guys make up the news? I'm fascinated about that. How do you guys all get together and decide what the story is the day? What is this? This is the next 2 weeks. We've got some idea what we're doing. Today, I had a pretty good idea about my first act and my second act is. I have some idea about one script for my show next week. I have objectives. I'm having Emily Bazelon on one day. This is an old board, actually. I have Emily Bazelon on coming on one day next week from Slate to talk about the Supreme Court slate, but not a word of that's written. And that's as far as we've gotten. So I've got one script for Monday, an idea for Tuesday, and everything else is just a coin toss from here on out.
We've been talking some about the absurdity of politics and political discourse. So here comes your new book.
About damn time. I mean, the QVC guys are coming in here in a minute. We're going to sell my book along with serpentine chain necklaces. Order now and you'll get one.
But this goes right to what you're talking about in this campaign.
Yes.
America, again, re-becoming the greatness we never weren't at a time when, as you write about, America's perfect, now we should change it.
We have to fix it.
We have to fix it.
America's perfect and we have to fix it.
Right.
Okay? Because American is an exceptional country. Yeah.
What are you exposing about this debate about? You're drinking a lot of water. Is it the cup?
These lights are so hot. It's like you've got more front light than Oprah. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
What are you exposing about? I mean, one of the big debates we've seen this about. I mean, Mitt Romney's book.
I got it right here.
There it is.
No apologies.
No apology.
It is time for our president to stop his apology tour.
That's right.
Or start one so these accusations are accurate. Either one, do something. Sorry, I'm angry. I'm sorry, what was your question?
That's what you're getting at in the book.
Right. Yeah, America, there's nothing to apologize for. We have the greatest history in the history of history. Okay? What are we supposed to apologize for?
And is it hard for guests to adapt to you in character? What do you like to tell them beforehand?
I say the same thing. I said it to you when you were on, which is that, listen, thank you so much for coming, because I'm grateful. I know it must be like some kind of a tough booking sometimes, because it's not like going on Charlie Rose. You know, you don't know necessarily what I'm going to say or what I'm going to ask, because I'm an active idiot. And as I say to the guests, I say, thank you for coming. Have you ever seen the show? I do the show in character. He's an idiot. He's willfully ignorant of what you know and care about. Please honestly disabuse me of my ignorance and we'll have a great time. But sometimes they forget. I mean, I had Senator Bob Kerrey on. It was a 9/11 Commission report. I had him on very early on, about 4 or 5 months into the show, and I said that to him backstage. And we were about 3 minutes into a 7-minute interview, and I don't know what I said, but he turned to me and he said, "What the hell are you talking about?" But in the middle of the interview, I couldn't explain to him what it was. So I hope, and then he just mic off and then left as soon as the interview was over. So I hope at some point someone explained to him that I was just fooling Senator. But I'm very sorry.
What decides the race?
What decides the race? Well, obviously, how we feel about Sesame Street is going to decide. As far as I can tell, that's all we've talked about since the debate was over. It's certainly the only clip anybody runs from that debate.
That's right.
There is no other clip to run. Everything else is absolutely just stark, staring, like mind-bending boredom for 90 minutes. That Romney was better at. And I don't know what's going to decide the debate from here on out. I suppose the other two debates, I mean, it's so odd that the first debate made such a difference.
Why did you have to have a book, by the way?
What?
Why write another book here? I mean, you've written others.
You obviously haven't read it, if you have to ask that question. Hey, Homer, Iliad was good. Why write the Odyssey? Hey, God, why 2 Testaments? One was fine. Really?
But you felt you felt you needed
You've already
this.
found someone to marry you, right? Because you were rude. I understand. Okay, please.
No, you felt the need to write this.
Yeah, because, well, I don't know how things are going up there in Network Town, but down in Americaville, USA, people are hurting, David Gregory, and this book has common sense answers to people's problems. You know, this tells you how to find a job.
David, any thought of running for political office yourself?
No, absolutely none. I have said terrible things with a straight face on camera. Can you imagine the political ads that could be run against me? Can you imagine?
No reason to stop doing this?
Oh, no, as long as the checks keep rolling in. You know, we're only in it for the money in show business. No, I love it. I love it.
Final point is, does the outcome of this election change anything significantly?
Well, sure. I'm not Ralph Nader. You know what I mean? I don't think that there's no difference. There is a difference. I don't know what the difference is, though, because I think that I think there is a possibility that Obama would be, say, more aggressive, a more aggressive reformer or changer in the second act of his presidency. And I don't really know how. I also don't know how Mitt Romney would govern. He might govern as a technocrat. That sort of seems to have been his career, as like the guy from Pepsi who comes in to run GM. You know, he can't tell us what he's going to do because he hasn't seen the books yet. But we don't know, because he seems absolutely sincere as a moderate, and he also seems pretty sincere as a severe conservative. So and that's not a dig; it's honest confusion, because he's got a good shot of winning, and if he does, I hope he's a good president. And if Obama wins, I hope he keeps some of the promises he didn't keep the first time. But I have no idea how it changes for us, but I know there's got to be a difference between these two men, or we're all part of a huge, cruel joke.
But that's your business.
No, I tell good jokes, not cruel jokes.
Not cruel jokes.
Yes.
Stephen Colbert, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate
This
it.
was wonderful. Now, when do we shoot it for real? David Gregory, what an honor.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app, or watch live on our YouTube channel.